Welcome to Touching for Pleasure. This is a 30-minute guided practice with me, Michael Dresser. And in this practice, we'll be focusing on your hands in particular and how you experience touch in your hands. Now, most of us are usually used to using our hands as tools to achieve things, to do tasks with. And we don't often give them a chance to just explore and to play and to feel. And touching for pleasure is really about learning how to feel. So we'll be focusing on waking up sensation in the hands, following what feels good in the skin, both in the hands and in the rest of your body. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. So I really invite you not to try to aim for a particular outcome. You might have some expectations of how pleasure ought to look or to feel. And I'd really like to invite you to try and let those go as much as you can and simply notice what you experience moment to moment as you do this practice, whatever that is. So before we begin, just take a moment to make sure that you're sitting or lying comfortably. And importantly, I really invite you to make sure your back and your trunk are well supported so that you're leaning against something or lying against something and you're not sitting up. So this really helps your body to start to understand that this is an opportunity for it to relax, which is helpful to the process of experiencing pleasure. And if you're sitting up, or if you're sitting rather than lying, you might want to have a cushion on your lap and to have your hands held by this cushion so that they're well supported by the cushion. And again, this is for similar reasons. We want to give your hands the best opportunity they can have to really relax and feel like they're not having to work. This is an opportunity to relax and to play and to explore, but not to work. So when you're ready, I invite you to pick up the object that you've already chosen, bring it to your hands, and just start to explore this object with your hands. Notice this object. You may want to look at it. Notice what it's made of. You might give it a function. You might notice that it's a tool of some kind. It might have some context or meaning for you. Noticing all these things about it, and then letting those pass through, letting those things go, and bringing your awareness as fully as you can to the object in your hands. Exploring the object with your hands. And inviting you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or to soften your gaze so that you're not looking directly at the object. And start to notice how this object feels as you begin to explore it with your hands. So you might notice the shape of the object. You might notice whether it has edges or curves. You might notice the texture of the object, or it may have more than one texture. You may notice the weight of the object. Is it heavy or light? Maybe even the temperature of the object. Noticing all these things about the object as you explore it with your hands, bringing as much curiosity to your exploration as possible. And if you notice that you're getting distracted or thoughts get in the way, bringing your focus of awareness back to the sensation that you notice in your hands as you touch this object. And I invite you to try slowing the speed of your touch down, maybe even by half, and see what you notice when you do that. And taking in all the air that you need to, allowing the breath to flow easily in and out. Noticing how this object feels to your hands as you touch it. Inviting you to get curious. How does this object feel in different parts of your hands? Maybe the palm of your hand, or the back of your hand, or your fingernails, your knuckles, your wrist. Inviting you to get really curious about how this object feels in different parts of your hand, and also how different parts of the object feel. There may be several different parts of the object. Bringing all your focus of attention and your curiosity to what you notice in your hands, the sensations you notice in your hands as you explore this object. And remembering there's no right or wrong way to do this. So just noticing what you notice. And as you continue to explore the object with your hands, you might start to notice that some parts of your hand or some parts of the object feel a little bit more enjoyable or pleasurable than others. So if you find something that feels a little bit more enjoyable, I invite you to stay there with that for a while. Explore that a bit more, see where it leads. So inviting you to spend some time hanging out with what feels enjoyable about this object. It might be a particular part of your hand that feels a little bit more enjoyable than all the others, or a particular part of the object itself. So inviting you to start to notice what feels enjoyable for you about touching this object, and what happens if you follow what feels enjoyable and stay with it. And then when it stops feeling so enjoyable, continuing on with your exploration. And again, inviting you to try slowing the speed of your touch right down, again maybe by half. And see what you notice about what feels enjoyable or pleasurable. And what feels enjoyable or pleasurable can often be very subtle. So I invite you to really notice the subtlety of what feels enjoyable. And taking in all the air that you need to. Making sure that your hands are well supported, that your body is well supported and relaxed as you continue to explore this object. Taking about another 30 seconds to really follow what feels enjoyable about this object for you in this moment. How do you want to touch this object for your own pleasure? And then I invite you to put this object to one side for a moment so you can still reach it. Just putting it to one side and then bringing one of your hands, which will be the hand you'll use to feel with and to do, bringing this hand into connection with your other hand. And your other hand will just be the equivalent to the object that you've just put to one side. So I'm going to invite you now to start to explore your hand with your other hand as if it were an object that you'd never encountered before. So inviting you to feel for the structure of this hand. Noticing how the bones feel, how the skin feels. And inviting you to bring your focus of awareness to the hand that is doing the touching. Noticing the sensation in this hand as it touches the other hand. How does it feel to touch this hand without needing to achieve anything, without needing an outcome, but just exploring this hand and noticing how that feels, noticing the sensations that you're taking in through the skin of the hand that's doing the touching. Maybe noticing the textures of the hand that you're touching, or the weight of it. And then inviting you to put the hand down and return your touch to the object. Pick the object up again and continue your exploration of the object, noticing how it feels, noticing how it feels different from the hand that you were just touching. And inviting you to notice how you want to touch this object for your own enjoyment. Noticing your impulses for what feels good about touching this object in this moment, right now. And then over the next few minutes, I invite you to switch your touch back and forth between the object and the hand, and keeping your focus of awareness on the hand that's doing the touching. So the hand that's feeling, the hand that's taking in the data of exploring. Noticing how it feels to touch the other hand, and noticing how it feels to touch the object. There might be similarities between the two. There might be differences. So noticing the different sensations as you use your hand to feel both the object and the other hand. And take a couple more minutes to do this, moving back and forth between the object and the hand. And again, inviting you to really slow the speed of your touch right down. And see what you notice when you do that. And as you touch your other hand, see if you can start to notice the difference between the sensations you experience when you're doing the touch with one hand and the sensations that you experience in the other hand as it's being touched. Inviting you to notice how those two experiences feel different. And inviting you also to notice how each of those experiences feels enjoyable. Bringing your focus of awareness to what feels enjoyable to the hand that's doing the touch. And then also shifting your awareness to what feels enjoyable in the hand that's being touched. And notice which of your hands you feel more, the hand that's being touched or the hand that's doing the touching. How easily are you able to move your focus of attention between the two? Noticing if you feel any tension in your body. And finding a way to relax. Making sure your hands are well supported so they don't feel like they're working. And inviting you now to bring your touch, if it's not already, from one hand to the other, so putting the object to one side, and really exploring what feels enjoyable as you touch one hand with the other. Noticing both what feels enjoyable for the hand that's doing the touching and also what feels enjoyable for the hand that's being touched. shifting your focus of awareness between those two things. And when you find something that feels particularly enjoyable, inviting you to see what happens if you stay with that for a while. Noticing if you have any impulse for movement in the rest of your body. And if you do, allowing that movement to be present. And if you don't, that's fine too. Also noticing your breath. Noticing if you want to take in more air. Noticing if your breathing is paused. And you might also want to experiment with what happens if you take different kinds of breath as you continue your exploration of touch. Noticing if you take a deeper breath, or a shallower breath, or a faster breath, or a slower breath. What happens to your experience of touch as you continue to explore your hand with your other hand? And noticing where else in your body you might want to touch yourself. And inviting you to bring this curiosity, this exploration of touch into the rest of your body. So moving from touching just your hand to starting to explore what feels enjoyable when you touch the rest of your body. So it might be that there's a particular part of your body that your hand really wants to explore. Or it might be that there's a part of your body that really wants to be touched in a particular way. So inviting you to start noticing your impulses for how you would like to experience touch in the rest of your body. And starting to bring that exploration into the rest of your body. Exploring touch in different parts of your body. You might want to be curious and experiment and see what something feels like, or you might have a particular desire to experience touch in a particular part of your body or in a particular way. So inviting you to follow those impulses and see where they lead. Noticing variations in sensation in different parts of your body as you explore them. Are there some parts that are more sensitive than others? Are there some parts where you don't feel much? What surprises you as you explore touch in different parts of your body? What's unexpected? And inviting you to bring your awareness to aspects of your body or sensation in your body and in your hands that you maybe haven't noticed before. And remembering there's no right or wrong way to do this. This is an exploration of what you notice in this moment, what feels good to your body as you explore touch, What feels good to your hands as you explore your body with them? And whatever feels good might be very subtle, or it might be quite big and profound. So just noticing what you notice as you explore your body with your hands. Noticing your impulses as well. So the body is a big, complex area, and you don't need to explore it in a linear path. So notice if you feel drawn to move from one part to another part that's nowhere near it. So from your leg to your face, for example. And trying not to think too much, but just allowing your hand to be drawn to where it wants to go next, or allowing your body to tell you where it wants to be touched next, and then seeing what you find there. And as you explore, bringing your focus of awareness all the time back to what you notice about the sensation in your hands as you touch, and the sensation in the skin of your body as it's touched. And noticing what feels good in this moment. What feels enjoyable for you? There's nobody else to please. There's nothing to achieve. And there's nowhere else to be, nothing to do. Just spending time exploring your own skin and noticing how that feels. And particularly noticing how that feels enjoyable for you. Taking a few more minutes to really follow your curiosity and to follow what feels enjoyable in your body, in your skin, in your hands, as you explore touch. Is there something you haven't touched yet? Or somewhere that you'd like to return to that felt really enjoyable, that you'd like to spend a bit more time with? Taking these last few minutes to really follow those impulses for what you want, for what you find enjoyable in this moment. Taking in all the air that you need to. And also inviting you to slow the speed of your touch right down. Giving your skin the best opportunity it can have to really take in those sensations, for you to notice how those sensations feel, which ones feel enjoyable, which ones feel less enjoyable. Taking another 30 seconds to follow your impulses for what feels good in your body right now. And then I invite you to gently bring your touch to a still point And then taking your hands off whatever part of your body they're connected with. And I'm going to invite you to spend the next couple of minutes just being with your body, without touch, without doing anything. Giving your body some time to absorb the experiences that it's just had, to allow those experiences to integrate without having to rush on to the next thing. But having a couple of minutes to just be with your experiences, with your body. And I'll let you know when it's time to bring that to a close. So for now, just enjoying being with your body without needing to do anything. And as you spend these moments just being with your body, you might notice your breath as it moves naturally in and out, without needing to change anything or do anything with your breath. And you might also notice your skin. Noticing how your skin feels. Again, without needing to do anything about it, just being with what you notice. And inviting you now to start to bring your awareness back towards the room that you're in. You might notice your body against whatever you're lying or sitting on. You might notice the sounds around you. You might notice the air temperature or any breeze in the air. And inviting you in your own time to gently open your eyes if they've been closed, and bring yourself back into connection with the space that you're in, noticing the objects around you, the walls. And then as you bring this practice to a close, I invite you to find some way of recording some of the things that you noticed in your exploration. So you might want to journal, you might want to write these down. You might want to record a little voice memo. Or you might want to just speak out loud some of the things that you noticed. But I invite you to help process what you experienced and to help that land cognitively for you, to find some way of expressing some of the things that you noticed in words.